today we are continuing with the what? That's right, the ambiguous, the mystery, the ambiguous case of the law of signs. So right now, we're going to look at problem number 7. And number 7 says, find all solutions for each triangle. Okay? Now sometimes the answer is going to be, there is no answer. So we have to figure out if we're dealing with case 1 or case 2. So right now, we have A, we have capital A, and we're going to be comparing that to a C. So right now, is this case 1 or case 2? Case 2, right? Case 2. All right, case number 2. All right, so I'm going to be comparing my A value to my C value. Now understand, A compared to C is just like saying A compared to B. You'll get your case. So I'm still just going to leave it at C. So let's go back to case 2. Oh. Now here we go. Case 2, A is greater than 90. Let's go back here, take a look. What's our A value? 32. What's our C value? 20. Ooh, I would say A is definitely what? Greater than C. So let's go back and take a look. A is less than, no solution. Oh, A is greater than B. In our case, we're just saying if A is greater than A, C, it still works. So how many solutions do we have? 1. And why are we happy that it's just one solution? Because we don't have to solve for one answer. We have to solve for 2 answers. That's why we're happy. You can just tell how happy we are here. It's just so prevalent. All right, so right now, let's go ahead and label everything that we have. All right, let's label what we have, and we'll figure out what we need to find. What do we have? We have angle A, that's 112 degrees. We have lowercase c, which is 20. And we have lowercase a, which is a 32. So right now, it looks like all we need to find is 1, 2, 3 answers, and we're done. Okay? So I'm going to try to draw a picture that kind of represents our problem. So right here, I'm going to scroll over just a bit. We're going to go ahead and draw an angle that's approximately equal to 112 degrees. So there's my 90-degree angle. I'm going to go over just a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to label this capital A. I'm going to make my angle right here. I'm going to call that about 112 degrees. All right. And then I'm going to draw another line segment all the way across. I realize this may not be perfectly equal to each other. All right. So I'm going to call this 32. That's my A value. Okay. And then over here, I'm going to label this 20. I'm going to call this C. So I'll put C equals 20. And up here, I'm going to put capital B and I'll put a lowercase b. Now, this is not the exact triangle, but this gives us at least a picture to go. Now, the first thing I'm going to solve for, the very first thing that I'm going to solve for is I'm going to solve for C. The reason why I'm solving for C is because that's the other side that they gave me. So, how would I set my problem up? What do you think? What's my proportion going to be? What am I going to compare? A over sine of A. Yep. Now, before we move on, does everybody understand why I'm using A sine of A and C sine of C? Because that's all the information that was given to us. Okay? So now where we're going to replace? We're going to replace A with 32. So we're going to write it better 32 than me. And then we're going to write the sine of capital A. And capital A is an angle of 112 degrees. I'm just going to write that right there. Lowercase c is 20. And we are going to be searching for, we're searching for the angle measurement of capital C. That's what we're going to be searching for right now. So once I set up my proportion, this is when we find our cross products. And if I multiply 32 times the sine of C, what I like to do is I like to lead out with the number of the side, 32, times sine capital C equals 20 times the sine of 112 degrees. So these are my cross products. 32 times the sine of C equals 20 times the sine of 112 degrees. So there's your cross products. All right, so in order to solve for our angle right here, all right, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to divide both sides by 32. And when we do that, these 32's cancel out, and we're left with this. We're left with the sine of the angle that we're looking for is equal to 20 times the sine of our 112 degrees all over 32. Now, what we're trying to solve for is we're trying to solve for this. We're trying to solve for that. And when you solve for this, remember, this is dealing within angles. We're solving for an angle. So whenever you're solving for an angle, it's very important that you understand what you have to apply to both sides to get rid of this pesky little sine. You multiply it by the inverse of sine. That's how you get rid of it. Because the inverse of sine times sine, those suckers cancel each other out. And whatever this big guy is in the calculator is going to give us the approximate value for C. But right here, when I put the star, you might want to make sure you are in what mode? Yes. Make sure you are in degree mode. That's going to be important. So make sure your calculator, hit the calculator right here, hit the mode button. Make sure you're in, not radian mode, but right here, degree mode. Okay? Clear this out. So how do we get the inverse? You hit the second button, you hit the sine button. After I hit second and sine, then I hit the alpha and the y equals button because it makes it easier to type stuff in. Yeah. So, oh, by the way, if you didn't do the alpha y equals enter, you have to hit second, sine, all right, and then you have to do another parentheses, type in everything, then close it, then divide it. Then you have to divide it by whatever's in the denominator. So you'd have to put whatever values are inside like that. Otherwise, it could mess up. Okay? All right, so that's why I do second sine, and what do I do? Alpha, y equals, enter. It makes it a lot easier. So what do we? So right here, second sine. What are we going to put up here in the numerator? 20 times the sine of 112. And then down here, we're going to type in 32, right? So notice where the degree is located. In your problem, whenever you hit the sine button, this right here is theta, or the measure of your angle. What does the 20 and the 32 represent? They represent the measures of the lengths of the sides. So now you press enter, and it gives you 35.4. So all I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take this 35.4, and what does that represent? The measure of angle what? C. So, all right, 35.4 degrees. Well, that makes things a heck of a lot easier, because now all I have to do is go to my calculator, type in 180 minus 112 minus, go back up here, grab that guy. And what does that give me? What's this? 32.6. What does that represent? That represents angle B. So right now we're going to go back over here for angle B, and we're going to type in, or write it, 32.6 degrees. So now we have all the measures of the angles. What's the only thing we need now? We just need the measure of the side for B, and we're done. So what's the only time we're ever going to use the inverse button? Right, we're trying to solve for an angle. All right, don't you dare use it. We're not trying to solve for an angle. All right, so right now, let's take our information. This next part should be probably the easiest, because we have enough information to solve for stuff. So I'm going to choose, once again, I'm going to choose A over sine of A equals B over the sine of B. Now, could you have chosen to use C over the sine of C? Sure. Well, why did I choose A over the sine of A? Why did I choose that one?
That's the more exact.
That's the more exact one. It's not approximate. That's one that was given to us at the very beginning. We know that is the correct distance for sure. But 32 over the sine of 112 degrees equals lowercase b over the sine, and what's the measure of our angle this time? 32.6 degrees. So I'm going to put these in parentheses because in the calculator those will show up in parentheses. So now that we have this, we once again do what? We cross multiply. And what's one of my cross products? Cameron, what's one of my cross products? Just give me one. One cross product. Not both, no, just one. Okay, 32 times the sine of 32.6 degrees. What's my other cross product?
B times the sine of 112 degrees.
There we go. Now you'll notice I kind of organized it. I put the b over here on the left and put everything over here on the right. Because eventually, what am I going to have to divide both sides by to solve for b? I'm going to divide both sides by sine of 112 degrees. Okay. So these right here will cancel to a 1, and all you're left with is b. So this is where you put in the calculator. You do not use the inverse button. You don't use it because you don't have to use it because you're trying to find the measure of the side, not an angle. Okay? So we have 32 sine of 32.6 over the sine of 112. So watch how I type it in the calculator. I go alpha, y equals, enter. What am I going to leave with? Yeah, 32. Then I hit the 1. Sine. Now watch what I'm going to do. I'm not going to type in 32.6. I'm going to go up here and grab that whole thing. I know. I'm such a rounding snob. I've been called that before. All right, I'm a rounding snob. That's what I am. I'm kind of smart. I'm rounding. So what am I going to put in the denominator? Sine of 112. Now why did I not choose a 32.6 but chose that? Because technically this is my more exact 18.6. Now you probably would have gotten the same answer, 18.6, if you did 32.6. All right, but I like to round at the very, very, very end. So there, 18.6. Go over there. And finally, you're done. So these are your three sides. These are your three angles. Thank goodness we only had how many solutions? One. We only had one solution. Okay? So right now, what we're going to do, before we do anything else, I'm not going to solve any more for you, but I'm going to show you guys how to set it up. So right now, if you look at problem number 8, right now, ask yourself, is this case 1 or case 2? Case 1. So right now, case 1, write down on problem number 8, case number 1. Let's compare A to B. A is 12, B is 15. That's definitely less. So we have to go one further step. What do we have to do? So we got to go back. Let's go back to our case 1. Whenever A is less than B, we have to check. Is it this? Is it this? Or is it this? So what do we have to do? You have to do B sine of A. So we go back. So type in B sine of A, which is what? 55 degrees. We'll put B sine of A. So right now I'm going to write 15. I'm going to type in sine of 55. And if you do this in the calculator, if you type that in, let's see what happens. 15 sine 55. 15 sine 55 gets us a 12.3, 12.28. So what happens when A is still less than B times the sine of A? If you guys look at your rules, the rule is what? Oh, the rule is right here. A is less than B sine of A. Oh. Now, why should you, as a high school student, be happy that the answer is no solutions? Because now you're done. What's the only thing I want you to see what's the only thing I want to see on your paper? Not just the word no solutions. I'd like to see that you actually did the process to prove to me that there were, in fact, no solutions. Case 1, case 2. Case number 1. A is 22. B is 12. A is definitely greater than B. A is totally greater than B. So I'm going to go look. Go back to case 1. Scanning. Nope, A is not less than B. A is greater than B. How many solutions do we have? 1. So on this triangle, good news, everybody. Great news. On problem number 9, you only have to solve for what? 1 triangle. You don't have to solve for 2 triangles. So you can use the law of signs, and every single answer, you're good to go. You don't have to solve for 2 solutions. So number 8, you didn't have to solve for any. Number 9, you have to solve for 1. Now let's go one more. Let's check out number 10 so you know how many you need to solve. So number 10, we have B equals, so right now, treat this like your A value. All right, put C in comparison to B. So we have 13, we have 15, and 13 is less than 15, so we have one of those 3 situations. You're either going to have no solutions, 1 solution, or 2 solutions. So since this is less, I have to go one further step, and I got to put B sign up. This time I'm going to do capital C. So I'm going to put 15 sine of 50. And what is 15 sine of 50 approximately equal to? 11.5. Uh-oh. We got to change that symbol. So C is actually what? Greater than now, right? So it's not less than, it's greater than. So if you go back to your scenario, when A is greater than B sine of A, and in this particular case, the C was greater than B sine of A, how many solutions do you have? 2. So I'm sorry, you do have one more that you have to solve on your own that requires you to solve for 2 answers. It's going to be 2 solutions. So before I set you free, I'm going to draw pictures of the 2 triangles so you each have a picture of what they should look like. Okay? So this one is all I'm going to do. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to label angle A, angle B, angle C, lowercase a, lowercase b, lowercase c. So lowercase c is 13, angle C is 50. That's fixed. What's my side B? 15. I want you to understand you're going to have 2 possible answers for A. You're going to have 2 possible answers for B, and you're going to have 2 possible answers for angle A. So you're going to have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different answers. But I'm going to draw the triangle that this goes with. Okay? So we're going to start by making an angle. So here's the angle that I'm going to make. I'm going to make a 50-degree angle. That's about a 45. So I'm going to say that's about a 50. I'm going to draw a side going across, and see C is 13 and B is 15. So let's see here. Let's make this about like that. It's going to be about like this. All right, it's going to be about like this. Oh, sorry. About like this. There we go. I'm going to erase the rest of this. So here's our triangle. All right. I'm going to call this capital C. I'm going to call this lowercase c. So lowercase c is 13. I'm going to call this capital B. and lowercase b, and lowercase b is equal to a 15. My computer will let me do this. Sorry there. My apologies. A, lowercase a. All right, so there we go, lowercase a. Now this is one of my triangles. All right, that's one of my triangles. Here's where my other triangle is going to be created. You guys see this side right here? Watch when I swivel it. I'm going to swivel it until it looks like an isosceles triangle, right about like that. You guys see that? So I want to make a little tiny triangle right over here to the right. This little tiny triangle right here, I'm going to make it right over here to the right, the best I can. So here's the other possible triangle. Same angle. I realize that's greater than 50 degrees, but you know what? Okay. So here's your other triangle that you're solving for. This is still capital A. This is still capital B. This is still capital C. Here and here, that's still, we're still saying that's 50 degrees. This is still 50 degrees. This is still 15. This is still 13. The only difference, everybody, the only difference is, notice, this is an acute angle. This is an obtuse angle. What do these two angles, when you find them, what do those two angles have to add up together to equal? 180. So just note that these angles, I'm going to put a little arrow here to remind you, remember, those angles are supplementary. So I'm just writing this down to help you guys understand how easy this is to find. These have to add up to 180. So once you find one, you can find the other, which is going to impact this angle A and this angle A. All right? So there's your two triangles set up. You should be able to do the rest on your own. Have a good day.